We're going to take a look at doing the base map for a deck on the back of a house. So this is where we're going to start. Today we're going to draw the base map and create a screenshot that we're going to use for our creative. So we've got a house here, and this is for Sue. We want a deck here on the back side. We've got a couple of measurements. These are the elevations. We've also got some dimensions on the house here. Here's a couple of other angles. And some photos we take while we're on the job site. So yeah, let's get the base map drawn, which is existing conditions. We'll start here with these distances. Let's see here. And we'll go in here. So we're in our SketchUp model here. We've opened up our template, saved it, and now we're gonna get started. So I'm gonna want, this is my preference, the X, the red line here, to be visually like this line right here. So that way when I'm working on the model and I'm hitting the right arrow key, that I know, like my frame of reference is that it's the width. It's like the width of the design. So I like to call the back of the house the width of that design. So we'll go ahead and start here. Let's see, we got a couple measurements. We're gonna start here in the corner. All right. So we're gonna go hit T, right OK, we're gonna go 8 feet. And that's this dimension right here. And we've got 9 feet coming off of this right here, 9 feet. And then we've got 45 inches there, 45, a 36-inch door, all right. And we're just gonna take a line for the back of the house. We're just gonna go back 30 feet. And then looks like we're missing a distance to the whole way here. Awesome. So we know, let's draw the parts that we know, and then we're gonna reference the last part here. Sometimes this happens, you're missing a measurement. If it's a critical measurement, I'd go back out to their house and capture the measurement between these windows. I've got the distance from this corner to the edge of this window here, and I know that the size of this window is gonna be the same size as this window right here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull in a Google Earth image or a Bing Earth image into the model, and then we will reference this. If we are designing a patio or a deck on this end of the house, it'll be pretty important, but our entire design is basically from this window to the right over here, so not as critical. Also, a great lesson for learning what you need when you're at their house. Learning how to do these base maps in SketchUp is really going to help you know what to measure when you're at the house. So let's grab the 220 off of that line right there. So I'm going to do T for tape measure, again grab it to there, and we're going to take it to the back. 220 inches. And then let's go ahead and grab the Earth image here. And it's a new development, so it's not on the maps. Pretty cool. So what we'll do then is we'll reference here. I can imagine that the space between these windows here is probably pretty similar to the space here. So let's go ahead and get the windows in and draw it on the house. Okay, so that one's 25 inches, that's 144. 25. That doesn't look right. Let's try that again. 25. There it is. And then our windows are 37 by 73. 37, comma, 73. Okay. And we know that this was as far over as this. And if we do from the, let's do from the door sill as our zero, our vertical zero. And the reason will be because when we do the next image, which is our distances, our elevations here, these elevations are based off of the door sill. And the reason we do the door sill for our points of zero when we're doing these is because when the crew is out building the project, if you referenced a concrete pad that gets demoed or a point in the yard, they can't be used as reference points. Almost never are we replacing or taking out the back door or the front door of someone's house. It is a constant when it comes to landscaping, and it's a great place to create a consistency with all the projects. If crews are ever wondering what the zero is, an elevation, if it's always the door sill, that's going to really help create consistency for the guys and gals in the field. So what we'll use is we will use this as a point of zero. We're going to go down 16 inches, that'll be the bottom of our siding, but then we're going to go up 38 inches for the window here. So let's go down 16 inches. Actually, we're going to copy this down 16 inches, and then we're going to pull a line, tape measure for 38 inches. So we now have located that window. We also know that window exists here, and it exists here. So that's this window, and this window. And for now, we're gonna put the roof line, that's about a foot. It's a little irrelevant for our landscaping, so as long as it's close enough to look appropriate, the measurements parts that'll be important to us will be what's on the ground. And what's this distance here between these two windows? It's about 6'10". So if we did a tape measure, actually, yeah, did a tape measure back, 6 foot 10 inches. There we go. And yeah, move this window over here, copy it. And then we do have this measurement, it's 17 more inches to there. So we know that from this point, 17 inches, that's about the length of our house. And we're going to just grab these points. To this point here, and this point here. We're going to finish the wall. And then we'll do the same on this side here as well. This is probably better done with push and pull, but we're just drawing these lines here for now. Okay, let's get rid of some of this extra. We don't need this, we don't need this or this. We've got our door here. Now we're gonna place this window right here, which we have about 18 inches. Grab the height, we know that's 38 inches. And we're gonna make this right there. Okay. And we got a door that goes in here. So we're gonna pull a door from our library here. Let's see. All right, so Sketchup crashed on me when I drugged the model in. So we've got it here. We've got a door, we'll do a single door, half glass with a grill. We'll go ahead and drag that in and place it here. So now we got a door, now we got one in place. Also, we're gonna take a look at our tags here and hide that layout tag, which is what creates the 2D graphics for whenever a model is sent over to layout. We turn off the 3D, some of the 3D graphics, and we turn on the layers that have, the tags that are for the 2D graphics. Okay, so that's a 36-inch door. So now we know where our door is here in the model. And let's pull up the client again. Okay, so we've got all these distances here, a window well. Oh, we got what we think is a property line out here of 66 inches off of this corner. So we're going to get that in here. And then we're going to place this wall, which is 386 inches. The reason I use a lot of inches instead of X amount of feet and inches is, I'll show you in a second, it's a lot faster to type it into SketchUp. So instead of 5.5 feet, I can just grab this, right arrow, 66, enter. And that's a lot easier to do. The other one was what, 386? We'll grab this, come out, 386, enter. So, from our top-down view, we've got a retaining wall out here, that's the back of the property. We've got what we believe is the property line here on this side. We'll double check that with the survey, with the plot survey once we receive that from the customer. And we'll have that. So, now let's do the elevations. We'll go to our next picture. In this photo, we are looking at the elevation points, and that's what these guys are. They're all based off of this 0 here. So what we'll do is we will start at the corner here, negative 44, 42, 45. And now our 0 here again is this axis. So we'll use T, come down here, we go 44 inches. This one's 42 inches in the corner. This one's 45. And now we've got negative 48, which this is like, imagine the edge of the house coming out there, and then we got a 10-foot out. So I'm gonna draw a line from right here out 10 feet, and that way I can grab these measurements here as well. Show you what I mean. We know that we come out 10 feet here. We also come out here. And then we also come back this way 10 feet. And you see how we kind of created this imaginary X and Y points with these distances here. We came 10 feet off the corner here, grabbed an elevation. We came 10 feet off the wall, grabbed an elevation. This elevation right here is these 2 points, the one out here, edge of the house, 10 feet out. And these are gonna be things that when you're on site and you're at the house and you need to grab some elevation points for the hill, you can give yourself some points of reference. Personally, things like 10 feet off the corner, using windows, on center or edges of windows, breaks in the house and the siding, those can be really helpful points of reference for when you're out. Getting the elevations, that's also a little bit of a cheat because the crew's going out building it. It's easy, it's very natural feeling to grab off of points of interest off the house. Okay, so then we got negative 35 here, 42 and 48. 35, 42, 48, and what else do we have here? 52 and 48, right? So we have, and 48. Now what we're going to do is we're going to connect these dots, and that's what's going to create the mesh for our grade. And the reason we do it this way is because these are real life measurements. We have a deck that is going to be going in with this area right in this corner here and coming down, and those steps are going to be landing to a flagstone patio in this area. So it's going to be important for us to have it measured instead of it's one of the reasons why I'll stay away from like these auto grading tools. Like there's tools out there that'll produce the grade for you in the mesh. I personally do it this way. It gives us the most control over the elevation in later stages while also achieving efficiency and accuracy. So it kind of checks all the boxes. So before we connect this, let's do this. Let's finish the house. Just close it off. And we'll do a push-pull. We're gonna copy it down to here. Okay, so now we've got like the house here. And triple click. And then I have a shortcut created where I use Command or Control G to create a group. And that's gonna help us keep the geometry separate from itself so that when we start drawing this grade, it doesn't start sticking to our house and creating some frustrating feelings down the road. And we'll just connect the dots here. Boom, boom. We got a triangle here. Just a big old game of connect the dots. And now we've created our grade of what exists. I'm gonna change one thing here. Notice that the triangle is coming this way, and so it kind of crests over like this. What I think the actual condition is that the crest comes this way instead of this way. So I'll erase this triangle. Small detail, really doesn't come into play often, but when you're creating those triangles and you're trying to make decisions about which way do we cross the box to create the surfaces, that's how we make those decisions. Okay, we've got existing grade. I'm gonna get rid of these cross lines, and just out of good habit, I'm going to grab the elevations here. We're gonna put them in a group. Probably won't need to ever see these again, but it's a nice habit to drop them on a tag. I'll call it guides, and we'll hide guides while we're doing our model. And we got our mesh, triple click, Command G to group, and let's come into the house and draw the foundation. So we're gonna push this down, copy it down, and this is the basement. It's irrelevant how deep that goes. And the last thing we'll do, just for the sake of consistency on our hill, we're gonna go into our existing grade group here. We'll take it back, out 66 inches. And then we're just gonna mirror the grade. We won't be coming out this far for the deck. Probably would have been good for us to grab that elevation. It's a small change. But yeah, that's what we've got. So we've got the existing grade. And then for our photo, we'll triple click. We'll come to Soften and Smooth Edges, which is a tool that is located in, if you go to Window, and then you'll go down to Soften Edges, and that menu item will bring this toolbox up. And we'll go ahead and smooth the edges. We'll just smooth coplanar. Actually, we might not need that, so we'll just get rid of that actually. Okay. Now we've got our base map. So I've got a scene called Final Plan. And then I'm gonna take a screenshot of this. And this is what we're gonna use in the next step when we're doing our brainstorming piece right here. Oh, last thing, let's do this. I'm gonna put this on a tag called Existing Grade. We're gonna drop this on a tag called House. And I'm gonna retake this photo because when we're doing the creative part, we need to know where the boundaries are, the property lines. But We don't need the graphics of that grade. All right, here's our photo. And we will save that photo. Let's turn our existing grade back on. I think the last thing we have here to do, let's go ahead and update that. We'll use this photo. And we will put it into Photos. All right, so that's it. Pretty simple. We've got existing conditions drawn in SketchUp. We're going to use that top-down photo to use on an iPad, or if you'd like, sometimes we'll print it out on paper. We'll make a couple of prints, and that's where we go with a pen, paper, and we just create ideas. We're going to do the brainstorming, see what kind of shapes that we can come up with. And then once we've done that step, we'll come back to SketchUp, and then we will be able to produce the versions of the deck that we'd like to present to the customer for the draft review. And the reason we do that is because sometimes trying to do the creative part in SketchUp can it can really slow down the creative stage. And that, I think that's because SketchUp is a very technical design program. You're typing in distances, and it's like you're trying to come up with an idea, but also see if that idea works. And we like doing that creative stage without really having the boundaries of, does this work or not? Let's figure that out once we get a couple of ideas on the board, and then see if they end up working when we start drawing them in SketchUp. So that'll be the next video. We'll see you then. Thanks.